This monument was put up in honor of the Holocaust victims from Đakovo Concentration Camp, which existed in the period between 1941 and 1942. The name of the monument is Peace in Heaven, and its author is Dina Merhav, an Israeli sculptor who was born in the town of Vinkovci in eastern Croatia before World War II. About 3,000 Jewish detainees passed through the camp, and their names would have probably been forgotten hadn't it been for one man who helped the victims preserve their identity. This video will try to tell their story. The Peace in Heaven monument and the Jewish mortuary chapel stand at the entrance to the Jewish cemetery in Jakovo. They are the witnesses of once significant Jewish community that existed in this peaceful little town in eastern Croatia. The first Jews settled in Jakovo in mid-19th century. The Jewish municipality was founded in 1852, and the synagogue was put up in 1880 in present-day's Frankopanska Street. The Jews of Jakovo were organized into several sports and cultural associations. They had a printing press with Hebrew letters, and from 1912 even a Zionist organization. Before World War II, approximately 250 Jews lived in the town. They were well integrated in the society and comprised about 3% of the town's population. All of them perished during the Holocaust. These were all the citizens of Jakovo. They were sent to extermination camps and murdered just because they were Jews. At the same time, the town became the scene of even greater tragedy for Jewish people. Soon after the German-led invasion of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, the so-called independent state of Croatia was established. It was a fascist puppet state of Germany and Italy that mostly consisted of modern-day Croatia and Bosnia. As a consequence, racial laws reached Jakovo. On the 4th of December 1941, a Jews' concentration camp was established on the site of the abandoned mill, owned by the Đakovo and Srijem diocese. Mostly women and children were taken to the camp, predominantly from Bosnia and Herzegovina. At first, the camp was run by the Jewish municipality of Osijek, which had to take care for the detainees' nutrition and medical care. Then, everything changed for worse in February 1942. This is Vjekoslav Luburić, the notorious commander of the Jasenovac concentration camp. He ordered the transportation of more than 1,100 people from the infamous Stara Gradiška camp to Đakovo. As a result, the Đakovo camp suddenly became too cramped. New prisoners also brought abdominal typhus and lice, which was the commander's hidden agenda. Soon afterwards, typhus killed about 700 inmates. On March 23, 1942, the Ustasha command formally took over the Đakovo camp. The Ustashas immediately began a terrible terror of camp inmates, who were subjected to beatings, rapes, and starvation. These are only some of the victims who died at the Đakovo camp. Many others could not even leave a single memory of their existence. After the camp was closed on the 5th of July 1942, the remaining survivors were transferred to Jasenovec. Some of them died on the way in the train wagons, and many were thrown into the Sava River immediately upon arrival. From the total number of about 3,000 detainees, only few children and women managed to survive the Đakovo camp. The notorious mill in which the Đakovo Concentration Camp was once located doesn't exist anymore. Today there are a gas station and a large supermarket at this location. Only this commemorative plaque bears witness to the existence of the camp. It was set up in 1961, but it could use a restoration. Interestingly, although many Roman Catholic priests and bishops openly cooperated with Ustašas and Germans, nuns from Đakovo's Holy Cross convent knew another way. With their help, several young women managed to survive the Holocaust. Roman Catholic nuns from the Holy Cross convent aided Jewish detainees, especially children and sick or pregnant women. By healing and hiding them, they helped saving several lives. Sister Amadea Pavlović, the Mother Superior of the convent at the time, was later honored with the title of Righteous Among the Nations. The title was obtained on the testimony of then 11-year-old girl Zdenka Bienenstock from Osijek. The nun hid the girl in the convent under false names until May 1945 and the liberation. Aside from the Sister Amadea, only a few nuns in the convent knew about the girl's true identity. Her presence put the convent into an extreme danger, because aiding Jews was a crime punishable by death. The victims of the concentration camp would have probably been forgotten, hadn't it been for a man who struggled to preserve their names from oblivion. His name was Stefan Kolb. He was of German origin, born in Osijek in 1886, and moved to Đakovo in 1910 when he was hired as a gravedigger. The authorities entrusted Stefan to bury the people who had died in the camp into a mass grave at the town cemetery in Jakovo. However, he opposed the orders and buried each victim separately, considering that everyone deserves a worthy burial. Putting his own life to danger, he recorded the names of the deceased in his notebook, with the time of everyone's birth and death, as well as the exact place of burial. Thus, he preserved the last thing left to the victims, their identity. The victims were identified in the 1950s, and about 570 are known by name. Among them are a 90-year-old lady and 2 newborns only a day old at the time. The irony is that the end of the Second World War brought Stefan Kolb himself to concentration camps. Due to his German last name, new communist authorities sent him to camps in Valpovo and Sarvaš. Upon his arrest, he even had to spend one night at the camp in Jakovo, where Jewish detainees had been kept previously. His health seriously deteriorated in captivity, so he died soon after his release in the winter of 1945. However, Stefan's daughter Mira kept his notebook with the names of the Holocaust victims and delivered it to the Jewish municipality of Osijek after her liberation. Thus, the cemetery in Jakovo became one of few places where the identities of individual Holocaust victims have been preserved.